Yeah, so you would think that after all of this would be the craziest part of the story. Well, you would be wrong. So I was like way too late to the party. And I think the value of studying here is greater than the issues that come with it. I was so late because I started looking on those in like June, July. All the places were already given out in May. And if you are not available to register on the property, that means that you are living or would be moving into an illegal place. If he gets fined, he fines me too.
Hello everybody and welcome to our first podcast edition. Our first guest will be none other than Milan.
Hello guys, I'm very happy to be here today for this podcast episode, the first one that we're going to have for all about student housing. We were thinking for a long time to share more experiences and really go in depth because in our street interviews on Instagram you cannot really see the whole story of the people.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I think it would be interesting for us to start first with ourselves and then then we get into other interviews with other people.
Perfect. So let's start with the first question for today. I think everyone knows the answer for this question, but I will also ask this one. Are you studying in the Netherlands?
Yes, I'm a student in my third year of university, actually, studying computer science at the University of Groningen. And yeah, that's actually where we met with Andre for the first time.
Perfect. Really good. And now I want to continue with how is it to be a student in the Netherlands?
To be honest, the first time I moved here, and actually I recorded like my experience of moving here for the first time. To be honest, it was quite hectic. Like for the first time I moved here, I didn't know much about the Netherlands overall. I knew one person here actually who helped me with finding housing and everything, which was really helpful. But then I didn't really know many people, but I was really open to like meeting new people overall. That's why I did like a video in which I asked like 100 different students to be my friend because I felt like that could be an interesting way to introduce myself.
Quick question. Where is that video, by the way?
that video sadly it didn't work out because after I did like the picnic with the whole 100 people, it's just because of like the files got corrupted and never posted it, so sadly that happened. But yeah, getting back to what's the life here in the Netherlands, honestly I really love it. I think it's really great. The weather is a bit and I can understand why some people would not like living here. But for me personally, it's awesome. The people really open, the many cultures that are here from different countries, that's really great. I'm happy that I'm able to have like a lot of Romanian friends because we do understand each other really well. But I think there's also so many opportunities to meet different like people from different continents even. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And also the university is really, really strong. I wouldn't say I'm the best student, but I'm hanging in there. And I think the value of studying here is greater than the issues that come with it.
Perfect. Sounds really nice. In the beginning, you mentioned something regarding your friends that you came here and you know just one person.
Yeah.
How did you manage to make some friends?
Well, in my personal opinion, what someone should do when they're moving to the Netherlands is definitely just, there's going to be WhatsApp groups probably where you can like meet people, or there's going to be different type of events like the Kai Week, for example, or like the ESN Week. Those are really great opportunities to meet like older people actually, because the people who manage you in the team, they're probably the leaders are older, but also people from the same year as you. And then that's where you start. And that's also that's before you start the university. And then when you start the university, I think really you need to get into with an open mind. With the people who you share the same bench with. Hey, I ask them like, hey, what's your name? My name is Milan. Your name is X. And then just start chatting. And then you're gonna find the people who are more like you just with time.
That's really nice. From what you're describing, it seems to be like a perfect life, to be honest, a perfect student life. But now let's focus to some problems.
Yeah.
Did you face some problems being a student in the Netherlands?
I think the problems I faced when I came to the university, it was definitely one was housing. Not knowing people, but I kind of solved that quite fast because I'm quite social. I think that was solved quite fast. And then also making money. I think that was one of the things that I didn't think about in my first year, and that was a problem, me not thinking about it. And I just felt I just started doing my like YouTube and I started like editing, so that kind of solved itself, and the friends solved itself quite fast for me actually. And yeah, again, the Kai Week and like ESN, those are definitely helping with the friends. But housing was something that like really bothered me a lot.
Okay. I heard from a lot of people that housing that there is a really big problem with the housing in the Netherlands. So when did you start searching for housing?
Yeah, so my experience with housing when I came here for the first time, I actually did a really bad job at finding at being interested in housing overall because I was back in Romania. I got like the letter of like exception probably like maybe May or something like that I think,
Okay.
and then we still had like our exams for high school. So theoretically, it wasn't sure that I'm passing, but of course like there wasn't an issue with passing that exam, and then the grades didn't necessarily matter for the university. You just needed to pass it, which was nice.
Yeah.
Because I was in the first 200 people, and then yeah, when I came here for the first time, I had no idea. I didn't know about like these websites, like housing websites, like Kamernet, like Pararius. The only one, Kamernet, I kind of heard about it from someone else, but then I also heard something like at SSH and XIOR, like these housing complexes for students.
Yeah.
I heard those were very popular, but I didn't know those are like lottery style. So if you don't catch it, and actually I was so late because I started looking on those in like June, July.
Ooh, okay.
And all the places were already given out in May. So I was like way too late to the party.
Okay, so basically you just missed SSH or something.
Completely.
Okay.
And then when I started like thinking about this was probably in like the end of June.
Ooh.
Or end of June, I remember, I got like a Kamernet subscription for like 20 euros, 25 euros for 2 weeks. I sent as many messages as I could on that. I didn't even use any other websites, or I don't think if I used Facebook groups, to be honest.
Okay.
I just used that one. I sent a lot of messages. Then I went for 1 week to Groningen to go for those viewings. Nothing worked out at all. Nothing worked out.
So from what you said to us, everyone should notice that 2 months are not enough to find a place to rent for in summer.
Definitely
So
not.
yeah, that's not enough.
Definitely
You have to start searching
Early.
yeah.
Like 3 months minimum. Just the 3 months is just like, hey, let's open the website. Let's see what's available. Because in general, if you look 3 months before, you're not gonna find a house for August, or you're not gonna find one for September, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna find one for June or July, and you don't necessarily want to move in June because you need to pay 2 months for nothing, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So you just need to start looking because sometimes you're gonna find those apartments, but you know that's what I mean. So it's like in the beginning, use like something like Pararius where you don't need to pay any money. Like try to use tools where you don't need to pay anything, and then Kamernet to seal the deal at the end if you have no other options.
Okay.
But yeah, how I found my house was quite simple. It's just I went on the housing website for XIOR Groningen. All of the rooms theoretically were gone. Someone said no to it because that's what you can do is if you receive it, you can still say no in a period.
Okay.
And so someone said no. I went on it. I saw an 883 euro room, which was for me very expensive. I asked my mom, hey, is this possible? Because if not, probably I'm going to live in a tent or I'm not even moving to Groningen. And she said yes. It was a 6-month contract, a short stay, which in my mind I was like, okay, 6 months, then I find something extremely cheap and it's going to be fine.
Yeah, okay.
So that's kind of how it was my first experience with housing.
So you're not self-sustained when you moved in the Netherlands?
Definitely not. Definitely not. When I moved here for the first time, I didn't even think about like the dual student financing, which I think is so important. And yeah, I just was all my money came from my mom, and I was probably eating like I still remember I was eating like €2 jumbo pizzas, like salami pizzas, because you could buy like for €6 you could buy 3. And I would just eat the 3 pizzas in one day, and I was like, bro, I'm spending only €150 a month for food. What are the people saying here that you need to pay like 400?
Yeah, I remember that time. Yeah, crazy time.
Crazy time. Only the pizzas, the bread with salami, and pasta, and pasta later. Yeah, that was quite interesting.
Yeah, so you mentioned that your story was like, so you mentioned that it was quite hard for you to find the housing. So how was the story after the first place?
Yeah, so you would think that after all of this would be the craziest part of the story. Well, you would be wrong. You would be definitely wrong because sadly I had to move. What? I had to move from there. From there, that was one. So I moved once. Then I moved to another place. I guess that was the first move. Then I had to move to another, and then to another at the end in the summer. So I moved 3 times until July.
3 times in 6 months.
Yeah, 3 times in 6 months.
Yeah.
Which I still looking back, it's so crazy because now like I've been living in the same place, or like for the last 1.5 years I've been living in 2 different places, but it was really safe. So it's definitely different. Do you want me to get into like the actual story of how everything went in those 6 months?
Sure, we are open to. If you are open to describe everything we are also.
Yeah, I think it would help because I went through so many different scenarios because of course initially I lived in Seoul, very expensive, right? And then I started in time searching 2 months at least before, but in the middle of the year you don't necessarily need 3 months. 2 months is enough.
Yeah, from sharing your story, everyone could learn and understand something about
Definitely.
the housing situation.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah.
And then what happened afterwards? I think I was looking again on Comernet.
Okay.
And I had one I was looking on Comernet, yes. And in the same time, I knew that at one of our friends, Dragos, sorry. So at one of our friends, Dragos, there was an opening in Vondelijn. That's what is the name in Groningen.
It's Vondelijn, I think.
Vondelijn, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably people outside of Groningen, even in Groningen, maybe don't know about it, but it was like a quite well-known place because initially it was kind of like a hospital for mentally ill people.
Yeah.
So that they made it a housing place so they can get more money, of course. And it was terrible conditions. But hey, like in the Netherlands, when you come here, you cannot expect that you're going to live in perfect conditions. Like you need to come here with expectation that, hey, I'm going to live in a shit place initially, and then maybe I'm going to find something better.
Yeah, but you also have to mention that the price there was...
It was really good. It was
Yeah,
really good
good.
there. Like probably it was like, I don't know, 550 euros, I think maximum with utilities included there. And you would get actually quite a big room.
Yeah, I'll get a room for, I don't know, 24 square meters or something like that.
Something like that. Something like that. And then instead of that, I actually went for a viewing to like a 45-year-old gentleman who was living completely alone in a house in one of the areas in Groningen, where there's like a lot of houses. And pretty much he was searching for a roommate to have like I would have 2 rooms and be able to walk around the entire house. It was the perfect scenario. If that guy wouldn't live there for that amount, perfect. Even like that, it was fine because we wouldn't meet that much. And he was asking for like 600 euros, or 660. It was fine.
Yes,
it was
for 2 rooms. Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Of course, it was quite cold sometimes. Like there were some issues, but like it was okay. It was okay.
Okay.
And then I filmed a couple of videos there too, which was fine. But I pretty much lived there for like a month and a half maximum. And after a month and a half, that's actually one thing that everyone should remember is that you need to register. When you move from a place to another, you need to register on the property. And if you are not available to register on the property, that means that you are living or would be moving into an illegal place. And that's pretty much what was my situation. I was living in an illegal place.
Oh, that's kind of crazy to live in someone's place illegally, basically.
Definitely.
How did you feel?
Well, the moment I realized, because that was like a Friday evening, I still remember. It was like 12 o'clock. I was like, I'm going to do this, right? Friday evening on like 11 o'clock. I do it. I want to change only my postal address because that's what I was told. Change your postal address. I didn't even know about mail at that time. Like I have many other stories with mail afterwards. But at that time, I didn't even open mail. I didn't even know that I would receive anything. And I for sure was receiving. So yeah, I wanted to change my email address. My postal address. And by accident, I changed also my registration address. And when I tell this to the landlord, the next day, I think, I was already kind of panicking. I tell him and he makes like a huge rant. He goes crazy. He's like, this is completely bad. Like, this is not okay. Like, I'm going to get into trouble because what he was doing, he was already having someone there. So I was illegally there because he was getting more like health insurance money. It's a bit complicated. I'm not sure, but either way, he would need to pay a lot of money in fines.
Okay.
So that happens. He tells me like, you need to somehow do this back, like this cannot happen, or you need to move now. And what was the situation was because this was a Friday, people wouldn't work Saturday and Sunday, I think. So I had 2 days to move and find a contract, like receive a contract on the new place. Because if Monday hits, they might start looking on that paper either way, and it doesn't matter, I moved.
Whoa. That's an insane story, to be honest.
Yeah. So what I did was I knew Comernet. Like this is the only option right now. Fast. I go onto Comernet. Every single spot I sent a message. Doesn't matter like it's a sublet for a month, for 2 months, for 6 months, for a year, for 2. Doesn't matter. I sent everything.
Okay. Yeah. So for everyone to recap, you were just you were basically kicked out on Friday evening.
Yeah.
You had to find a new place until the Monday.
Yeah, so pretty much theoretically he kicked me out. He was like, there's no other option. Like he didn't say like you need to go out of the house now, but like I was like, if I don't find anything, then there's what do I do? Like if he gets fined, he fines me too, and it was like not a fine for 100 euros. It was a fine for like 5,000 euros. Like the scale is different.
Yeah.
So then what happens is in 2 days somehow I sent a ton of messages on Camernet and I get an answer back from this SSH from a girl who wanted to move out and she would give the SSH until like July, right?
Okay.
I was like, perfect. I don't care where I'm going either way. And I asked her, like, can I get a contract right now? Because I need to apply for it. And she somehow makes it work. I didn't even go for a viewing and this already happened online. Like it could have been a scam. I didn't send money, so it didn't necessarily matter, but like it just happened. I got lucky in a way.
Yeah, you're very, very lucky.
Very lucky, but I put myself in the position to get lucky because I tried really hard, right? And that's important because I feel like a lot of people think that you getting lucky, that's the only option. But you need to put in and be persistent.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. I received the contract. I moved out, I think, like Sunday maybe or something from the place from that guy. I lived with Andre actually for, what was it, a week or so, I think?
Yeah, something like that.
Because I wouldn't get to move in the other place for another week. That's the thing. Like I moved out early because I was like, I'm not gonna live with this guy with this happening, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was quite interesting. That was definitely quite interesting.
Yeah, and how were your next experiences? How was the SSH? Because from what we know, there are a lot of people living in the SSH, so they don't know basically the conditions there.
Yeah. So I think SSH. It really depends on which SSH. In Groningen, there's multiple, and in different cities, probably there's multiple areas of SSHs and XIORs and whatever. And where I went personally, I think it wasn't the best one because it was like a very old building. Like it was built on like those, what is it called? When they sugar homes,
Containers.
It was built out of containers actually. So you can imagine the isolation and everything. Like it wasn't great.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I just moved there. I got a pretty good room. Like it was probably, I don't know, like 15 square meter. Like it was a nice room. I had a bed, I had a table. But what was the bad part, but it didn't necessarily matter for me, it was that I had to I share a kitchen and a bathroom with other like 10 to 12 people. But I wasn't really cooking, so it didn't necessarily matter. And then, showering in like a public space.
From what I know, the biggest problem was with the shower because you shared one shower for I think 10 students or something.
Yeah, it was like we had like an area like when you go to, for like you go to like a aqua park or something, and outside they have like those like things where you on both sides and have like 8 of those.
Okay,
and it wasn't open; it was just closed in a closet kind of. But you had like a lot near one another.
Yeah.
And of course they wouldn't like clean it properly, so it got. I think my girlfriend, she went there. Probably she would have been so disgusted by the situation, and I think she actually was there. So yeah, it's a good spot, to survive somehow. I think that's the main idea.
But basically you get a huge room not a huge, but a big room for
but then the bad part,
money.
but then the bad part was that I wouldn't receive my mail, which I got in trouble afterwards because I actually opened a company in that period, and then whatever. It was a lot of different things, but the place was good, and then I moved to another place.
So you ended the contract on July, right?
Yeah, I ended the contract in July.
Where did you stay from the 1st of September? In the second year.
Yeah, so I ended the contract in July. I started searching again in time, but 2 months before, I think. Even like probably I was searching in May or something like that, already starting. So Dragos, I was talking about, he actually went for a viewing at some point, and he got like the actual contract. He could have went there. It was like for 423 euros, I think.
Oh,
with utilities
really
included.
Cheap. Okay.
Extremely cheap in the city center, like really close.
Okay.
But he wanted to live somewhere else because he needed to park his car. So I was like, give it to me. Perfect situation. I didn't even need to. I don't think, maybe I paid for Camernet, I think for a month or something like that. But then, it just happened. And I was like, perfect. And I went there, I signed the contract, 420 euros a month, something like that, everything included. And I shared a kitchen and a bathroom with 4 other people. And I was living in like the most Dutch student-esque like building was on like 2 floors, and you would need to go up the stairs. Initially you would have the bathroom and the kitchen and 1 room, and then 2 rooms and then 2 more rooms upstairs, and I was living pretty much in the attic of the house. That's what it is, in the attic.
Very, very small
stairs.
Stairs.
It was maybe the room was 11 square meters, and the thing is was the if you were thinking about cube meters, like the thing was like this in the middle, so pretty much because I'm really tall, I would be able to walk straight only in the middle of the house or of the room, and the rest I would just need to like go like this.
Yeah, so the height in the room was not the same one.
It was not great, but then I made it look nice. I had a couch, a bed, everything, and then it was fine. And I lived there for 1 entire year. That was a really good experience because living close to the city center and having everything there, that helped so much. And that was amazing, honestly. So on my 4th housing, I had a place where I was happy.
That's nice.
My girlfriend wasn't as happy, but I was happy.
That's really important that you were happy.
Yeah, I was happy.
And you stayed there for 1 year from.
Yeah, I stayed there for one entire year,
Perfect.
and then at the end of the year, we decided with my girlfriend that we want to move in together. So then, actually, I passed the room back to Dragos because he was moving out and he didn't need it for his car anymore. So he moved in then, and then and that's one of the things that I'm telling a lot of people is that when you get to the Netherlands, it's hard in the beginning, but then you make friends. And your friends maybe moved out, and you can move inside of their house, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, because instead of landlords having to make like a new viewing process and pay for agency fees and all of those things, all of that stress, what they do is ask the tenant, hey, do you know anyone else who wants to move in here? You say X, is he okay? Can he pay? Let's go.
Perfect.
And I think that's one thing that people don't use is this opportunity of talking with friends and getting a place through friends. So that's why it's really important to network and communicate.
Yeah, I think friends solve a lot of problems. Yeah, they can solve a lot of problems.
A lot of problems. And besides the housing, of course, like just because if you don't have many friends, like you kind of feel alone. You don't know anyone here. Maybe not many people speak your language. In our case, it wasn't that because there's a lot of Romanians in the Netherlands.
That's true, yeah.
But like I couldn't imagine like not having friends here. Like it would feel horrible. Like I would always probably want to go back home. And then, I think I don't get the full experience. So I think, being social and trying to get out of your comfort zone, I think is really important.
Yeah, that's true. And how is now staying with your girlfriend?
Well,
What did you take?
Where we are filming right now is actually the place where we are living. This is the headquarters of the All About Student Housing, the scheme that we are doing. No scheme.
No, we don't need to mention that. That's for later.
That's for later. That's for for the Patreon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been great. And I think this is also one other tip that I think we could give people is that living with someone else in a place is really good because instead of paying 1,200 euros alone or getting like a worse room, because what like really it allows you to do is for 13 euros you can share, I guess, with one other person, but you share it with your friend or your partner, right? It's way more comfortable. You have more space, good area. Like everything is perfect. So I would really recommend this.
Yeah, and instead of living with a stranger, you're living with someone that you know, with a friend.
Exactly. In a nice place that you guys both decide on and you pay like, I don't know, 600, 650 euros. But again, the dual student financing.
600 euros for each.
Yeah, exactly. So everyone gets this dual, even if just about yourself to pay your just from the dual student financing, you pay your rent. And then maybe you need 200, 300 euros from your parents, right? And that's it. And you can fully self-sustain yourself.
So it is really important in the Netherlands for everyone to know that it's really, really easy to be self-sustained and to not get money from parents.
Of course, there's one thing that we need to mention is because we realized this a bit later on, because we are from the EU, this is possible. But if you're from outside the EU, this is not possible. You cannot get student financing, which is unpleasant.
Yeah.
But then I assume most of you who are watching right now are from the EU, so this is applicable. And trust me, 32 hours a month is not a lot. It's just one day of working 8 hours in a week. I think that's completely fine. You have time for your studies. The computing science study that we are doing right now is one of the hardest ones from our university, and we are doing completely fine. And I've done since then a lot of different things. I'm not saying I'm a curriculum like what is it like? What's it called?
No, you're not an example.
I'm not an example
for studying. You're not an example.
I'm just saying I already have a job. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, that's really nice, but you haven't talked so much about Facebook groups. Actually, you didn't talk at all about that.
Yeah.
We all heard that in the Netherlands, Facebook groups are really popular. So, yeah. Can you say something about that?
Yeah. So Facebook groups, I would recommend them, and you have to take this with a grain of salt. In what sense this is, or like a big palm of salt. Like there's a lot of different Facebook groups, and I actually talk with people who have not used Facebook groups at all and didn't even know that Facebook groups are a thing here.
Okay.
So if you have never heard about this, Facebook groups are a thing. You go onto Facebook, into groups, search housing, Groningen, housing, Amsterdam, whatever. We actually have our own Facebook groups, but we are not focusing on them that much. And you can find like groups with like 10,000 people, 100,000 people, so many people.
At the moment, we are not focusing on that groups.
At the moment, we are not focusing on that.
We have other projects on the
horizon. Yeah. But yeah, you just go there, and then there's quite a lot of listings. In the summer, there's a ton of listings. Like every hour, probably there's a new listing. I would say.
I think so, yeah.
And then yeah, you go there. If you've seen that, and what would be nice is you have your notifications for Facebook, and then you receive it. You're the first one to send a DM. And then if it seems fine, then you go for reviewing perfect. I've heard many people find something through Facebook groups, but then also really, really important, look out for scammers. And this is how you can do this. Very simple. Profile name, like if it's a weird name that like maybe it's not that common, you can have to look out for that. Then another very important thing, when they created their Facebook account, if it wasn't last year or if it was last month, for sure sketchy. If they don't have any pictures or the friends they have very weird images or names. If they are part of a lot of groups or very little amount of groups or little amount of friends or a lot of friends, same situation. So avoid that. Also, if the apartment that they are posting looks like a 1,500 one and they're asking 1,000 or 1,200, again a scam probably. If it looks like Greece, it's Greece.
That's a really nice tip, and yeah, these are really nice tips. To be honest.
Yeah. It's I had experiences with that. Actually, I for the fun of it, I got in contact with the scammer once because I wanted just to see what's like the scheme, you know. And they send you like this contract. The English is very bad, so probably they're like they don't speak English that well.
Okay.
And then they just start with the contract. Hey, this is the situation. At the moment, I cannot give you the keys. I left them in the door, or not in the door, but like under like a vase or like under the something, or left it in somewhere.
Okay.
Because I'm on vacation. I went on vacation to somewhere, to Africa, to Asia, to whatever, and I'm not gonna be able to be there. But hey, just send me the rent. You don't even need to pay anything else. Just the rent. You're gonna find the keys when you go there. Doesn't matter.
Just the rent for 1 month.
Just the rent for 1 month, and that's it. And you're never gonna hear from me again.
Yeah.
That's it. So yeah, it's there's good and there's bad, but I would recommend use any options that there exist. You should use them.
Okay, so thank you so much for being here today and doing the first podcast with me.
Thank you so much for being here and doing this with me today. And probably in the near future we're going to do a reverse situation. I think it would be really fun to see how the experience of Andre was, because he has a very interesting story too. And yeah, what I want to mention here before we leave, and if you reach this point, we thank you so much, is that like I think it would be really useful that we have wrote like an ebook where we have mentioned everything about how to find housing, like the best strategies, like an in-depth guide. And we have launched it on our website, findstudenthousing.nl. If you're interested, just go on there, check it out. If it's not for you, perfectly fine. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say, really, to you guys. And thank you, Andre, again.
Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the podcast.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, see you in the next podcast, next video.
See you.
Hey, bye, guys.
Bye.